Welcome to task number 6, how to research potential publishers. Let's get started. Now, while your author is happily typing away on their manuscript, you could begin looking at potential publishers. Make sure you have downloaded how-to number 6, which is how to research potential publishers, so you will have the step-by-step instructions as we go through this. So an author may decide that they want to work with a traditional publisher to get their book out. Great. But that could be easier said than done. Publishers just aren't waiting around for the author's brilliant manuscript. The author has to convince the publisher that their book would be a perfect match for the publisher. The author does that with what is called a book proposal. We have a great class that takes the author through the steps to prepare a book proposal. If your author is new to writing, having them take a book proposal class might be something you could suggest. Keep in mind, between 90 to 98% of all book proposals are rejected, not because the books are bad, but because the author hasn't submitted the information in a way the publisher can use it, or it was disorganized, or the author has sent in things and spent time on stuff that the publisher doesn't even need. A book proposal class is not a bad idea. You could also suggest the book proposal handouts available at thepublishingstore.com. Those are very affordable and they cost just a few dollars and could make the difference between a great contract and a rejection letter for your author. So the first task is to identify publishers that publish the author's kind of books. But beyond the name of a publisher, you would also like to collect the following information. You want any contact information, their mailing address, email, phone, etc. You would like one or more of the editors at the publisher. Any titles of books that are complementary to your author's book from that publisher. And you want to collect any useful facts that you can find, like how many titles it produced each year, what it specializes in, how it likes to receive manuscripts, etc. When starting your research, there are 5 top places to get started. The public library, or the author's personal library. You want to check out bookstores, Amazon.com of course, publishers' personal websites, and then the writer's market. One of the best places to begin is with the author's own library. Most people love the topic they're talking about and therefore have lots of books on the topic at home. Ask the author if you can see some of these. Another place to look is your local bookstore. Have a look through the section that your author's book would most likely be placed. Of course, nowadays, we have to look at Amazon.com. You can find a wealth of information about books, publishers, sales, etc. on their website. And the last 2 places to look would be the Writer's Market, which is a yearly publication of publishers, and of course, you want to check out publishers' own websites. Alright, let's say you're using physical books themselves to figure out which publishers might be a good fit and to find an editor to send the manuscript to. One initial step would be to go look at a bookstore in the section that the author's book would most likely be found in once it's published. And you'll want to note all the publishers who publish books in that section. You can usually find the publisher's logo on the spine of the book or on the back cover at the bottom. The title and copyright pages will also have the publisher's information and will also give you a physical address, but there are other places to find it if you don't find it there. While browsing in this section, you're trying to find a publisher that has published several books in that category. They probably focus on that type of book and are most likely to publish more, as long as your author's book is not directly competitive with one they've already published. Just write down the publishers you have so far. We'll do more in a second. The next thing you're going to want to do is pick up the book and have a look at the acknowledgments section, which is near the front of the book. In there, we're looking specifically to see if this author thanked an editor at his or her publisher. And in this example, you can see in the second paragraph that the author thanks the whole team at her publisher, Harper San Francisco, and particularly editor John Loudon. So you would make a note of the name and author of this book with the publisher's name and then the name of the editor. If we were sending a book proposal to this editor, we would address it to him specifically and mention that our book would be a great fit for this product line because it fits in with the type of books he's publishing already. Now, if you're not working from a physical book, here's how you do your research online. You'll want to look for publishers on the web, particularly on Amazon.com. Amazon in many cases will list already available books as well as ones that will be coming out in the next 6 months. This can be really helpful for you. For this example, I went to Amazon and I typed in the word selling and I hit the search button. On the screen is the page I got back. It lists a lot of books for me on this topic. I could then go book by book, looking for books that were complementary to the author's book and then jotting down the publisher information. Suppose you noticed that there seemed to be a publisher that just dominated a particular category. The best thing to do in that case is to just go to their website directly. Here I went to Hay House and I found all of its books, so I could really get an idea of what authors it worked with and what type of books it specialized in. So let's say that my author was working on books on relationships. So I can see that under the major heading self-improvement, there's a category for relationships. So I would just click on that. And it would bring up all the books by that publisher in the past or that will be coming out over the next 6 to 9 months in that category. This could be helpful to eliminate potential publishers that might have a book that was almost exactly like what my author was working on. Seeing this list of books is also helpful in finding books that are compatible to an audience the publisher already knows and already has a loyal following with. Publishers would like to publish more books to an audience who already knows and likes their stuff. Something else to note, you may see on a publisher's website that they don't take unsolicited manuscripts, meaning that they only look at book proposals that come through agents and not authors directly. Ignore this. What they're trying to do is they're trying to keep from being overwhelmed by manuscripts by putting this up. If an author can make a direct contact with an editor, this is never a problem. So you can find a lot of information on a publisher's book from their website, and you can also find what they're looking for in a book proposal. But one thing you're very rarely going to find is the name of the editors themselves. Usually they don't want their editor's inbox to be overflowing with manuscripts, so they don't put their names on the website. This is where the writer's market comes in really handy. The Writer's Market is an annually updated book, and it comes with a CD you can use on your computer. If you don't feel like buying the book each year, you can get an online subscription on their website. It's www.writersmarket.com. You don't need to write that down now. You can find that at the VAA headquarters online. Now, this is sort of the Bible of reference books for authors. It lists most of the major publishing companies, as well as trade magazines and other publishing opportunities for authors and freelance writers. You can buy a copy at almost any bookstore, or you could also borrow it from the library. At some point, you're going to want to get access to their website one way or another to get the most updated information, since there's a lot of turnover at publishing companies. Now, your author may already have a copy of the book or an online subscription. If that is the case, you can use their access code to do the research online. Let's have a look at a typical entry from the Writer's Market. Remember before that acknowledgement page that we looked at, and the author thanked all of his friends at Harper in San Francisco, and specifically his editor, John Loudon? Well, here's Harper's listing in the Writer's Market. As you can see, John Loudon is listed on the end of the 4th line. You can also see how much additional information you can get about the publisher, their address, their phone, what they do, what they publish, their other titles, etc. This is a great resource for publisher research. Alright, now that you've found all this great information, you'll want to create a publisher log for your author. You can download a log just like this one to create from an Excel spreadsheet under Toolboxes at the VAA headquarters. It's also called Manuscript Submission Log. You will probably just need to fill out the left 4 columns to show the author some of the possibilities, and then the author will decide when and if they're going to approach those publishers. You could also print out some of the information you found on the publisher's website if you think it could be helpful, and maybe copy the Writer's Market entry as well. If the author decided to send in a book proposal to the publisher or to many publishers, then you could keep a record of that and any follow-ups and notes in this log here. That's it. You've just completed task number 6. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.